All right. Yeah. Did everybody get a handout? I think that I had. And you can kind of probably recognize portions of it because what I'm doing is working down from that original schedule. Kind of wanted to start with a review. Right at the end of the session last Friday, I was presenting and we were discussing the writing system history of the language. And I wanted to know if anybody had, or even anything we discussed last time, you know, that you wanted to clarify or discuss further about.
I think I talked to you after class and you said you were going to bring, I forget what it was, like, because I talked to you about grammar the Lay, the L-A-Y or something, and you were saying something about talking about.
Well, you mean like, okay, so, you mean like how we spell it now?
Yeah, what we were saying.
See, so.
That was the Lay.
Yeah, see, in English, we would call this le, right?
Right, yeah.
But see, the sound system, this is always ah, right?
Right, okay.
And so ah is always ah. Now, if you add the e sound to it, that becomes I.
Okay.
I.
Oh,
I.
Okay.
Because this sound really is not what.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, I mean.
Not like yellow.
Yeah, or it's not a LL sound like lello. The kids will, babies will say lello. Yeah, it's not, it's E. So, see, this could be this too.
Right.
See, like the word tie, right? It could be AI or AY. These actually on the phoneme chart for language is identical sounds.
Okay.
They're produced in the same place in the mouth, but psychologically we give it a different value in English unconsciously. We're not aware that we're doing that. And that's why we call this, you know, so we learn this as may, right?
Right.
May. But see, really, may in English is how to make it, it's a, I forgot how to make it. It's that EA backwards thing. I forgot how to make it. It's actually an A sound. That's what it does it that way. See, that's what A. This is I. See, so we have to relearn that in this writing system as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So back to great grammar, Delilah. See,
Okay.
duh, and then of course the students are still that I don't know are trying to call us a v, you know?
Right.
And of course that's really not that. It's just the single. Well, I guess that's oo, so that's where the problem comes from. You know, going back to that vowel structure I showed you, the high front, you know, E, high back, oo, low front, A, low back, ah, and the central vowel, See, that's just a simple It's called a schwa. The name of this sound is called schwa. Okay, that's the name of that sound. It's called the schwa. It's the one that's produced in the center of our oral tract. And it's the default position of the tongue. Really, it's See, where everything else is articulated by the teeth, the lips, the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the throat, the laryngeal areas, and the glottis down here. So that's that central location. Okay, and that's why it's called mid or the schwa. So when we were choosing letters, where's it at? Is it on the dollar? Do I have a dollar? Where's the one that says E pluribus unum?
You know you only got hundreds in there.
No, it's not showing all in there. But where does it say E pluribus unum?
On an order, maybe?
It says it on one of them.
It says what?
E pluribus unum. It means one people. E pluribus unum.
Out of any one or something?
Yeah, well, pluribus is the people, right?
Yeah.
And unum, the one.
Yeah.
E, the.
Yeah.
So the one people. Anyway, it's what is so what is that? What? How do you spell it? E
P-L-U-R-B-I-S.
pluribus unum. Or something like that. But anyway, see this pluribus unum? That's where we borrowed it from. And the reason would be is that, see, we don't have, you know, we don't, the thing that's different in our sound set, we don't have an O. So see, E, U, A, O, where's O? O is probably right in here somewhere. So since we don't have an O to help us, how are we going to differentiate U from You only have one letter available. And so it's already going to take the prominence of U. See, this is ooh. So we went back and forth. Well, okay, are we going to go with this is gonna be and this is gonna be oo. See what I'm saying? Well, then when you had a long vowel, like do, it would look like this. You'd spell do like this then. And we went, oh, that's pretty ugly. You know? So we don't want to go there. Do, right? You know, just to get to this. And so we looked around in the universe, and here's this e pluribus unum. It's all over Latin. When you go to the letters carved in, the words carved in Washington D.C., this schwa is everywhere. So, and the reason why it worked for Dee-ni is because we don't have a v sound. Now, if we had the v sound, right, that was a word or sound in our language, we would have had to go, darn it, that's not going to work. We had to come with a different strategy. So that's how we ended up with that schwa for duh, and then lai, li. I think that's kind of what we're talking about a little bit. Yeah, it seems like we're talking about just that sound. And what happens is that we all grow up speaking a certain language. We all grow up spelling it a certain way. And these conventions that then are learned by us unconsciously, and then eventually consciously once we're in school, you know, and then of course we accept this as the worldview. Well, when you're looking at a different writing system from a different language, then you start projecting, just like your sound system you would do, and your grammar onto that writing system. So, Dee-ni, you have to re-register just a few things. I and basically, you know, and a couple other things, just to kind of realize you're in a different writing system. Like if I was writing Hawaiian up here, you'd recognize it. If I was writing Italian up here, you'd recognize it, right? So hopefully if I was writing Dee-ni up here, you'd recognize it. You know, eventually, you know, and then English or whatever. And because it has its own, you know, way it's set up. So that's how we got to with that letter. Like the kids at school said, oh, so this, they're just my regular students, you know, not my class. And they go, so this is named Ta'aktavan. And I go, no, it's Ta'akdun. And they go, oh, this is not a va? You know, I said, that's not Ta'aktavan. I'm trying to throw a va in the middle of it all. You know, it's like, no, that's not, you know, anyway. So yeah, so there's some adjusting. Okay, anything else from last time? Anyway, so it was just kind of, we were finishing off on the idea that when the computer generation time era hit us, and then it was a matter, and so now we're just so practically thankful because we can use a natra and you can text in it. You know, even if we could have developed a computer font to write Unifont for us, it would have been restricted to that computer. It would not carry across to any apps, any other technologies, any other media. We would still not be able to text on Facebook, you know, if we had kept the Unifont. So it really would have been a crippling thing for the language to stay in that writing system, even though we used it from 1968 to 95, whatever that was from last week there.
We're actually the last tribe in all the local tribes to leave Unifont.
We were. Yeah, the first language to write with Unifont was Hupa. The second language, I believe, was us. The third language was Karuk, and the fourth language was Yurok. And everybody abandoned Unifont except for Bernice and I. We hung on to it for a while longer. And it was because those elders put so much energy into the recordation of our language. You know, from 1968 on until they passed on, that's what they wrote the language in, you know, and they knew that system. And when you're 85, you don't want to learn a new writing system, right? It doesn't make any sense to you. And so as poor Glenn Moore passed on, you know, as poor Georgina passed on, Bernice passed on, you know, all those old speakers that wrote in Unifont that begrudgingly, difficultly left. But we were the last ones to finally abandon it, I think in 95, whatever my timeline I gave yesterday, or last Friday. And so it's like, okay, here we are. Yes?
I was playing in my phone the other day, and you can change to different keyboards, and there's actually a Cherokee keyboard.
Nice.
And a Hawaiian one too.
Yeah, Cherokee Celebrate. And there's Arabic, and you know, yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was looking for the emoticon one.
Did you find the Dee-ni one?
I thought that was really interesting.
Or the Navajo one even would be interesting. See, because they have that thing I was talking about last time was that nasal hook. See? See, like that, you know. And so they would have to have a page, whatever you want. What do you call it? A font page, I guess. You know.
Keyboard alphabet or
that would have the nasal hook ability, for example. And a Navajo has tone. So over a vowel, if it's a long high tone, they'd have to have that, see? And so if it was nasalized with a high tone, you'd have to have at least three things going on there to create that one sound in Navajo. So that's why they do those, is so that you can actually, write those various languages. So, yeah. So that was kind of how we departed and arrived at where we were, where we got to now. And that history, I tried to describe that history in the book in the introduction. And I didn't want to get it so long-haired that you'd all start, anybody who read it would go to sleep and start drooling or something. Because it's like, how long are you going to drone on about this? But, in writing, but here I try to put the history here. Where did I put it? During the 1970s, a typing element was designed. So that's on page 14 in the beginning of the book. And then uniform was used and so on. And I just kind of went through the history of where we progressed from one point to another to end up with our Dee-ni alphabet of today, the Tala Dee-ni alphabet as of today. Okay, so anything else? And I threw spelling rules and conventions at the bottom because we will get to those, later. We'll just do those later. Because that's a very, kind of a specific thing.
I think one thing to recognize too is that speaking and reading are two different things.
Yeah, really.
And so learning orthography and learning what those sounds are, you can read all you probably could, but then to enunciate it correctly, and that's where I think the audio comes in.
Yeah, that's
For us to have
That's so much
CDs and
fun
whatnot,
with
which I really
that.
appreciate
For your
the language department doing,
That's so
yeah.
fun.
Because you can look at a symbol, but what
Yeah.
does it say?
Right.
I can look at the Cherokee language and go, how in the world do you say that?
Yeah.
So, and that's where our new toy we got, Lauren goes through the whole thing on
Yeah.
enunciation, which really helps.
Especially getting to hear yourself compared to what you
Mm.
you
Yeah,
guys
what you're
say a
hearing,
word.
yeah, your chip has to produce it.
Because I frustrate the heck out of Bray because I say the F with it. She goes, you do, and I can't hear it. I don't know it until I play it on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm going to correct it, but I can at least know it.
But
Yeah, at least you know
aware-
there's a
yeah,
speech in
you're
there,
aware.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
that's the hugest piece right there,
Yeah.
I want to make it an
No,
F.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so,
No,
all right, so what I wanted to kind of
Sorry.
start off on today were the parts of speech and then syntax. And as I always jokingly, and I know it's an old joke and should stop saying it, but syntax is what you pay for sinning. No, that's not that at all.
But you do sin if you don't get syntax right.
So syntax.
And that just means missing the mark.
So syntactic order is used all over the world, like especially in the computer world. Things have to be sequential. I mean, well, they don't have to, but to make them function the way you want them, they have to, go in order. And so every language in the world has, has a syntax in its speech. And so the thing to know about us, for Dee-ni, we are an SOV language. Okay. And what that says there next to that is a subject, object, verb language. Okay? SOV language. Another way to say this is that we are a verb final language. Okay, so what that means is that in a construction, which in this case would be a sentence, in a phrase, which is a sentence, then the verb is always going to be at the end of the construction. It's never on the front, it's always going to be at the end. So for example, in English, so I am going to Crescent City. Okay, so let's pick this apart a little bit and use some of our great knowledge that you've got. So I am going to Crescent City. Perfect English sentence, right? We all agree? Sounds good?
In English,
Yeah, no, perfectly English, good English sentence, right? So what kind of word is Crescent City?
now,
So it's a preposition to that next word, and that's why it's got that name. Okay. So what is the word I am? What is that? Well, that's semantic, not semantics. So what is it here?
It's part of the verb.
The object and the verb.
There's the object in here. If the sentence is Crescent City. Right. So, but what kind of word is I am? I. Close to a noun. close to a noun. A noun is a person, places, things, proper nouns and ideas are nouns. So we got a proper place called Crescent City, so it's a noun. So what is I?
It's the person doing the verb, it's the thing doing the thing.
Yeah.
The one doing the thing.
Okay, so let's move it apart so you can see it better. So what's I? What's
Pronouns.
Ah, pronoun. There you got it. Okay. So I, you, him, her, she, them, that, us, thosens and usens, right? Okay, so that's a pronoun, exactly. So that's a pronoun. Okay. Now, am. What is that? Am. Getting deep real fast here. So am. I am.
So linking verb and linking verb, helper verb or linking verb or English.
Yeah. So. Okay.
That helps I get to go.
It's a helping. I think I'm on a venture to call this the copular.
Yeah.
It's a copular verb because is, am, are. Okay, so let's check. I'll make a
State
list.
of being.
So is, am, are, do, were. Is, am, are, do. These are called copular verbs, if I'm correct. Copular. And it tells you who the subject is. It's required in English. I can't just say I going to Crescent City. You'd all like, whoa, wrong speech register for this county. Okay? So I have to have this. Okay? So it's a verb, but it's like, in another way to describe it is kind of like a helper verb, and it's important in English. So I am going to Crescent City. You are going to Crescent City. We were going to Crescent City.
Has been, are being, might have been.
Yeah. So,
And they're all be, they're all forms of the
To
word
be.
be. Yeah.
yeah. And so this is equals the.
Oh gosh, did you know verbs have multiple personalities?
Yes.
Verbs.
Verbs. I thought you said birds.
Okay.
Okay.
So the verb to be, it means to exist. It is to have a presence in the universe. Okay, so the verb to be. And so if you can write this down on your notes or in your head a little bit, remember the word copular verb. And the rule it has in English, and it's very important and very required in English. I go, you go Crescent City, wouldn't work, right? What's the difference between am, are, and is between were and been? What's the difference between the two copular verbs now? The tense. Half are in present tense and the other half are in past tense, right? So I did go to Crescent City. See, that's over with already, but I am going. See, it's in the present, right? I will. Oh, is will in that list?
Yeah.
Yeah, will should be here.
Do you want me to read what it says? Linking verbs do not express action. Instead, they connect the subject of the verb to additional information about the subject.
Okay.
And then it has all of those, yeah. It actually has ising. Is connects the subject, are connects the subject. There's a whole bunch of them, mostly to be.
Okay. So the verb to be.
Yeah.
It means that it's a state of existence,
Yes,
right?
state
The
of
cat the cat is on the car, right? The rock was on the car. Become. See, he will become angry. He will, he'll become angry. See,
It seems.
oh, it seems.
Interesting, huh? Seems.
Huh, okay. So anyway, in English, very important, very, very much needed, has to exist in English, okay? So now that you've got that there, now to get back to SOV, we have to change, these are grammatical names, so this is gonna be called then the copular verb, or what's the other name for it?
Linking.
Okay, I'm going with copular.
Because in our book it says we are non-popular.
So copular means so couples with that, right?
Yeah.
So a coupler, see?
Yeah, it's a couple.
It's it couples together with, so
Puts together two
copular,
things.
see?
Links together.
So yeah, if you pick some of these words apart, it helps you remember them too, because
Yeah.
to couple it together, see, it's a copular verb. Okay, so now, what we need to do is the semantic roles. Semantic roles means the job that the word has in the sentence. So now we know the grammatical pieces. Now what are their semantic roles? It means, okay, so now who is the subject in this sentence? And what does that mean? What does it mean to be the subject? That could be. That could be. We're talking about San Francisco. The subject is San Francisco, right? That's true. But in this case, subject owns the verb. The subject controls the verb.
So it's I.
Then I, right, okay. So let's pick a different color for the sake of
The
clarity.
doer of the deed.
So this here, so this is the subject. Oh, whoa, that's worthless.
Throw it away.
Toss it, toss it, toss it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, do watch out. You're cheating. Okay, so yeah, that's like not gonna do us any good. Okay, so subject. So right, so this I now is the subject. Okay, and the thing to always remember is the subject owns the verb. It's the one that's controlling the verb. You know, he is cutting. She is laughing. They are going. I'm going. You know, so forth and so on. So they control the verb of the sentence. Okay. So now, where's the object? What's the object in this sentence? Because now we're in a semantic realm. It's a little different realm. Yeah, I would say it was probably here. Very good. Exactly. And then now the one word stays the same. Where's the verb? You know what? It's going a verb. Type it in.
Go. Let's
To
see.
go, to go,
Yeah, I know. But,
walking.
well, you know what though? When you add ing to words, it makes them nouns.
I know.
We will meet tomorrow. The meeting was good. See, it turned from a verb into a
The
noun.
verb go is an irregular verb in
Yeah, 'cause
English.
going doesn't do.
Yeah. So how about going? Because see, am might be the verb here,
It's like going.
and this might be almost be a noun.
Going.
Because what I know in our mind, we think of going as progressive, talking, seeing, doing, cutting, going.
And would be the physical, like you're doing it.
Yeah, that's that copular verb, the verb to be. Yeah.
Mm.
Isn't English fun?
All languages are fun.
Going to is future a construction in English grammar. Going may refer to the verb go. So going is
Works
technically not the verb, yeah, but it works.
But technically it's not, but it does help.
That is irregular.
But, okay, but so the point of this little exercise though is what's our word order here?
Dee-ni.
Subject, verb, object.
Oh.
See, what's Dee-ni? Subject, object, verb, okay? What's it in English, and at least in this sentence? Subject, verb, object. I'm going to buy an apple.
In Spanish, it's
See?
like us too.
Instead of the
I
dog, it's
think
the
we're on.
dog brown.
What?
Like in English, it's the brown dog, but in Spanish, you say the dog brown.
The dog brown.
With that little
So that's the,
cafe.
It's the same
that's the,
thing.
that's where the adjective sits, okay? Okay, now, okay, so just do one more, so,
You are.
oh, okay, yeah, so,
You are going.
are buying an apple a day, okay? So look at that, see, you are buying an apple, okay? All right, so, again, just real quickly, where's the noun? Huh?
Apple.
A, I, apple. Oops. Okay, and where is the pronoun, or the subject? You. Right? And then are, we know is the copular verb, right? And then so buying is the verb. And then what's and, in this case? Another requirement in English, you have to have this thing right here, and.
Quantifier or something, it's more.
It can be a quantifier, it's telling you how many,
Yeah.
because you're not buying 3 apples,
You're buying.
you're buying
Yeah.
a apple, right? Right? So it's like a quantity, right? See? Yeah. See, because if this was a consonant, it would be a, right?
Yeah.
So if it was a, then it would be
Right.
a car. But because this is a vowel and this is a consonant, it goes from, you know, you are buying a car and you are buying an apple. Because this is a vowel and that's a consonant.
Article, like
It's
it's
an
an
article.
So it's an article, it's an article, like at the beginning of a sentence, the cat is black,
Oh, yeah.
a cat is black, they're called articles, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, in this case, its role in the sentence is a quantifier, it's telling you how many apples. See, you are buying 3 apples, you're buying 10 apples, you're buying no apples, you're buying a apple. You're buying, or I could say, you're buying 1 apple, that's it. See what I'm saying? And so the thing you have to remember about language grammar is this, is that you might memorize, a whole bunch of nouns, and might memorize a whole bunch of verbs, and a whole bunch of quantifiers. But what you have to realize is where they're in the sentence at the end of the day, and what role they're playing in the sentence. It doesn't always get to be, 90% of the time it will be, but there'll be this, you'll look at the construction, and you'll go, so what's this role in this sentence? You see what I'm saying? So be aware of that, that words change roles, therefore changes the type of word they are in that sentence. Now you take that same word and throw it in a different sentence, and it's going to be that other thing. Just so you're aware of that concept. So it's not black and white. Well, it's black and white because you're studying where it's at in the construction in the sentence. It's black and white that way. But if you think all nouns are always going to be nouns, maybe they're not. Maybe a noun's going to be an adjective. A man's man. He's a man's man. Man is the noun, but then he's a man's man. Man's is now an adjective because it's describing the man. See, so man turned into an adjective there, not a noun. See that? You see what I'm saying? So they can change roles, but just be aware of that. It's just Okay, so the point here is that English has a different syntax. It pays for its sins differently. Okay, so
Nobody ever says he's a woman's man.
That's a woman's
Oh, no,
man.
a woman's man, then it means he's henpecked.
Or a womanizer.
Well, then he's a
Well,
dog.
the man's man. Nobody ever says there's a woman. He's a woman's man. It's in the same.
Yeah, it's called being henpecked. Yeah, we know how to really say that.
The
Yeah.
words like
What
that.
what are those sentences supposed to look like then in Dee-ni?
I was gonna say, can
Okay, well, we'll do that, yeah. But I just kind of want to just drive this home, that what happens to us is, because we speak English, now, when you're first learning some Dee-ni vocabulary, what word order are you going to put it in?
English.
You're going to automatically put it in English because that's what you understand, and that's very normal. I don't want anybody to ever feel that that's weird or unusual. It's not, because what you're going to go for is, this order, because that's what you know.
And that's what a little kid would do too.
Absolutely. They're going to take the rules that they know in their head, just organically, and put it together, and that's what it would be.
Okay, any beginning learner does
Yeah.
that.
You're going to take the known, so syntax in English,
On that premise, it seems to me like when we were little kids, the Talawa speakers that learned English, they take their English and put it into the
Yes.
Talawa verb.
Yes.
So I talk like that in English too. So people think it's
Oh, we're
backwards.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because you say it English the way
yeah.
the sentence in Talawa. That's what John calls it, co-talking. You're
And,
co-talking.
and they would call that substandard English today,
Yeah,
right?
they do, yeah.
Well, it would be, and it would be if you compare it to pure English, right? You see what I'm saying? But it's a
Yeah.
transition between the two languages, and that's how you,
That's interesting.
It's very interesting because those two different worlds, two different rules were not colliding, but they were. How do we correct this sentence? Okay, so first of all, let's label them. So this means you by, wrong form of the verb.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, excuse
You're
me,
gonna correct it, huh?
wrong form of the verb.
But actually,
Okay.
you just gave a good example because if you were first starting to speak Dee-ni, you wouldn't change it. That would be you
Yeah.
by because that's how English is.
Right.
So that was actually
Very,
Right.
very right.
yeah.
Oh, that's true.
You
Yeah.
caught it.
Okay,
It's
so
a test.
this means you buy it, and this means apple. Okay, all right. So what part of speech is this? Is it the verb?
Pronoun?
Okay. Well, yeah. In this case, it's the subject, right? Because it owns the verb. Okay, and this is the verb, and this is the object, right? So there you go. SVO. See what I'm saying? Now we need to correct that for Dee-ni. Okay. And now what do we know? So we can go back up here, and you tell me, class, what to write first. What word am I going to write first to correct this?
None.
Okay, good. Excellent. You're exactly correct.
A.
And now we need the A correct, and now we need the
Fine.
height. Height. And so when you're transcribing, writing down in another language, they do at least 3-line entry. But so a good way for our purposes though, we could say, okay, so none means you, and this means apple, and this means second singular you by it. Oh, put a hyphen here. By it. Okay. Now, in free English would be you buy an apple. Okay? So that would be free English. This is free Dee-ni, means correct. This means, just a transliteration, and this is free English. So free Dee-ni and free English. So, you go buy an apple, or you're buying an apple. You buy an apple. Okay, and I'll buy the cheese. Okay, we're gonna go to lunch. Okay. Okay.
I just said I can talk about like the none is necessary.
Yeah. Well, okay. So okay. Before I jump there, good point. Now, if I say let's make this into a proper or a full noun. What kind of a word would that be? A full noun? Because this is what kind of word? This is a pronoun, right? So give me, what would be a full noun in English? Just a full, what's it mean? Like just a noun, not a pronoun, a non-pronoun. Just give me a noun. A person.
What, a person?
Give me a person.
Name?
Officer.
Huh?
Officer.
Huh? What?
Doctor. Clerk.
For this sentence?
Oh.
I'm just gonna try and make one jump. Okay, so how about the man?
The man, oh,
Okay.
The man.
The man.
Oh, wait a minute. So this is gonna, oh wait, it's going south too fast.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What Gaish's point is that because this language inflects inside the verb, we know the subject of the verb already because it's in the verb. It's in the verb. Now see what happens in English, Cindy made a point just a second ago, that we'll take a word, an English, a noun, and we'll add all these words around it to make it function. We'll make it run, we'll make it peeled, we'll make it cook, we'll make it bought, Where this language puts the subject in the verb itself. Now the reason why this is you-height and this is height, there's a reason for that. This means 3 single by he, she, or it. By.
It tells you who's doing the action inside the verb, right?
Yeah, so this here means that he, she, or it is buying the apple. This height, you're buying it. You-height, he or she's buying it. See how it looks different? See how the verb root's the same, right? Yeah, I'll explain that to you. Okay, so then here's, so this is, so here's the man, here's the apple, and kind of missing Gash's point. If I would have said,
I mean, I have to say you don't have to say like the first sentence, your first none, apel, I have to say it's apel,
And it makes sense without the none, is what he's saying.
yeah, so the point that Gash was making, and I kind of overshot the target a little bit, is that, see, because this is a pronoun, right? So what the language does, on page 114 in your book, I have a chart, I think it's 114. Yes, I have a chart on 114. And if you turn to 114, take a look at that chart for a moment.
In English, that pronoun is necessary to get information about the verb,
Yep.
right? In Dee-ni, it's already included in the verb.
Inside the verb.
So the pronoun
It
is,
changes. Okay.
yeah,
That's
well,
why
the
it
pronoun, you
changes.
can use it, and that's perfectly fine, but it's unnecessary.
Yes,
Right.
unnecessary. So
It's
to go back,
repetitive.
to go back to Gash's point, we could do this, which means, when you're writing language stuff, this means optional.
Okay.
This is actually
Oh,
optional.
okay.
I could just say, hey,
Yeah.
oh, you're
so we
buying
know
an
what
apple.
you're buying.
Yeah, so you don't have to put the none on there.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's not wrong, it's optional.
It's just different. You see,
Yeah.
we don't require that because means you.
And it only means.
You is already in that verb. You know, you don't have to be extraneously over here in your own position. But we got to that transition by going from an English construction, see what I'm saying, to get to this, to make the point, which I think you all got, hopefully.
You Apple, you buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
Apple, you buy it, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I've even heard like when linguists were asking three sisters the same words. And so, she, shmene, my house. The other sister said shmene, my house. But some did double inflect it. She, shmene. Yeah, my house. And that's not ungrammatical.
Yeah.
It's just a different convention of speaking the language, but it's really not a thrifty use of the language. is
I
all I'm
noticed
trying
that
to say.
some of the tapes of the elders, one is a little different. It's like, why is it a little different? That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because they're just double inflecting, and it's not wrong, but it's
It's extra information.
Yeah, and yeah, it's extra information you really don't need because we already know this means you buy it, you know, or you are buying its present tense. Okay, so that was just to show you that real quick on to kind of go on that direction. So in this chart now, back on 114, if it says present tense pronouns. See, one S means who? Me, I. Okay, look at I.
I.
Second singular means you alone. I'm talking straight to you, right? Third singular means I'm talking to him, I'm talking to her, or I'm talking to it. So it could be the cat, it could be the dog, right?
You're not talking to, you're talking about though. Right? On third singular, it's about somebody, not to somebody.
Yeah, but I'm trying to make the point that you're talking about them. Yeah, you're talking about he's buying it, she's buying it.
112 maybe.
Oh, maybe 12 is a little bit
Yeah,
easier.
112 is a little bit clearer.
Well, it's not so expansive.
Yeah, it's simpler.
Oh, that's that one. Okay, that's a little different. Okay.
But it's a little bit.
So
Those
it's just
symbols mean the same thing.
well, first of all, the whole point of that is trying to get you to understand what 1S, 2S, and 3S is, 1D, 2D, and then sometimes there's a 3D, which is in parentheses, you see that? And a 1P, a 2P, a 3P, and a P. Now if you flip that same information to both 4 and 14, you can see what I'm saying is that first singular shut. Okay, so we're kind of jumping over down to the next piece, but okay, alright. Alright, I was gonna do that next. But maybe we're done with this. Maybe, let me go back, maybe we're done with this. I think you all get to the point that word order, word syntax in Dee-ni is different than English, right? And okay, so, alright, I think you go ahead, and then I was gonna move through each part of speech. But you know, let's do this, this is a great thing. Okay, so sha, in present tense, like I am running, you are running, we are laughing, I am laughing, I'm talking. The sha, you can see it's SH, right? So it's SH. There's a hyphen after because it means it's a part of something else, that's why that's there. And it comes from the word she, which means who? It means I or me.
Me, myself, and I.
Sha. So for the language now, so that is a pronoun. Now this is a full pronoun called an independent pronoun. She, like who did that? She. You even say who did that? You go shh. You know, your response would be a full she, me. Okay. But when you're using it in a verb, you just borrow a piece of it, the sha. Okay. And it goes inside the verb. Okay. Now.
Man,
Right. Oh, that's a noun.
but I'm just saying.
So now the next category, so this is first singular, second singular is going to be you. You are buying, you are cutting, you are telling, you are running, you are laughing, okay? And the language borrows an N, or uses, and it also has an M, and it also has a tilde, which is the same thing, and it comes from the word none, which means you. None. Who did it? You. See? None. And that's a full pronoun. This is a piece of a pronoun. Okay? Now, looking at 3S, third singular, the chart says 0. Okay? None. I couldn't find a null sign that day. So this tells you that in the third person structure of a verb, the subject is never shown. It's always 0. And that tells us, we think, that that third person form is the shortest form of the verb. It's the simplest form. He, she, or it doing something is the shortest form of the verb. Okay? And so there's a 0 there. And then going on down the chart, let's just talk about it. I don't want to write it up here yet. Okay, so the next one is 1D, first dual means you and I. Let's dance, let's cut wood, let's peel apples, let's run to the beach. Okay, that's the let's form. The second dual is you two run to the beach, you two cut apples, you two stop laughing. I'm talking specifically to 2 people. I'm not talking to all of you, I'm only talking to 2 of you, okay? That's what 1D and 2D mean, okay? Now, first plural is all of us. We're all laughing, we're all cutting apples, we're all running to the beach, okay? It's all inclusive of everybody in the room, okay? That's first P. Second P is, now I'm over here going, you all stop laughing. You all are gonna run to the beach. You all go peel apples. You all go chop wood. You all start cooking dinner. So it's me talking to you as a group. That's the you all form that we don't use in California.
Everyone.
Yeah, or you guys.
Yeah, you guys.
Everyone, yeah.
Now you're back in Arkansas.
Oh,
Yeah. All of you go cut
Yeah.
apples, whatever the verb is. But we don't say y'allsins or y'all, right?
But interesting on the East Coast when I went over there, they say use.
Oh, use.
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 Yeah.
So with the S on the
Yeah,
U.
they just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, huh?
They're probably down south as yowers. And then it goes to 3P, which means they. They, them, And then the chart just gives you a blown out thing, and we'll get into that whole thing later. All those 3Ps mean they. They or them, or those people, are doing cutting, laughing, going to the beach. And then P means the passive. This means that we don't know who the subject is, we just know it's happening. Every night, somebody runs past the house. I don't know who it is. So there's a verb form just for the unknown subject. It's called the passive. The passive voice, like, somebody cut these up so nice. Somebody wove this beautiful basket. See, the word wove and cut and run would be in the passive form. It wouldn't be in one, so it's a deliberate form of the language. So you can talk about it in the passive voice. And those also turn into nouns. That's a whole other thing. But that's what these letters mean. So now, let's use some concrete examples of this. So there are basically 2 kinds of verbs, transitive and intransitive verbs. And so let's start with an intransitive verb. Okay, let's start there. So intransitive verb has no object. Okay. So an intransitive verb are verbs that we participate in every day of our lives that include only us. Pretty much. Like sleep. Intransitive verbs. Sleep, cry, talk, sit, yeah.
Well, look,
Yeah.
you might have to look at something.
So would you say sleep, cry, what was it?
Sit.
Sit.
Sit,
What else?
stand,
Oh, stand's a good one.
What about
Talk.
walk.
is that
What?
look? Cindy said look.
No, I said I don't know because you might have to look at something.
Well,
Like you
see,
look, you look.
see,
Seen.
to see. I see a cat.
No.
Yeah, you see.
You know what? Now what happens there? Now there's some
That
verbs.
was tricky.
There's some verbs that have 2 lives.
Yeah.
They're
There
called
we go.
bitransitive.
What about a word like bead, like I bead?
Popular.
I what?
I bead, like do beadwork,
Bead. I
or
bead.
something like that?
Now beading is that's gonna okay. So let's jump right down here. And since you asked the question, transitive verbs
The other one.
require
Oh, a subject.
an object.
Not a subject.
Page 112.
You're doing it to something.
Okay, now in beading, you're taking your hands and a needle, right, and a piece of string, and you're putting beads on it, right? So therefore, I am beading.
Well,
I am-
now Oshi and give me the option.
Well, let's go this way too. Let's put them all up here and get it over with.
Expose them,
Come
please.
back, Alex, come back.
Okay, now, I eat breakfast every morning. There's no object. I'm just telling you what I do, right? I eat. But man, I love eating apples.
No,
Now see how that went two ways? Because I eat because I love it. Or I eat breakfast at 6 a.m. every day. There's really no object there, you're just saying that I eat. But man, eating fish is the best. See, so that verb can go both ways. It's called bitransitive. In some cases, it's intransitive. In some cases, it's transitive. See, so those are called bitransitive. So beading is interesting. So you say, what do you do? I bead. Now, is there an implied object there? Yes, it's called bead, string, needles, thread, knots, whatever colors or whatever. Okay, so there might be an implied object, see, in some words. And that's why they kind of fall in this bitransitive category. See, they cross over. Look is a good one. Look at the car. Well, that implies that you need to see something. But I see a car doesn't have any volition to it. It's just I see it. See, I see a car. Look at the car. Now I'm telling you to look at the object. So it's kind of a bitransitive, see? Look is kind of bitransitive-y, you know, or maybe just transitive, because but see is intransitive, you know. I'm watching TV. Now if I tell you watch it, you know, watch the dog, make sure he doesn't bite the kids. See, watch turned into both. You see how it can go either way? I watch TV every day. But see, there is an object though, see. I watch TV. I watch. I guess with the right
watches.
Yeah, up on the, if you have enough information ahead of the statement, then you understand, yeah, I watch. Hey, what do you do every day? I watch. See, but we require that previous information, okay, to get to that. So basically, straight out, you have verbs that require an object and ones that do. So let's do, these are the two biggest categories.
And there's a few right there.
And these are the smaller ones. These are the ones that are in the middle. Okay, so give me some transitive verbs. Now think of things that require objects. They have to have an object to be done.
Going. Well, going to usually somewhere.
I'm driving the car.
I'm driving the.
I drive well.
To hit or throw something.
Ooh, see? So that's not a straight up, just hardcore transitive verb. I drive cars, if the sentence was, I drive cars, that's definitely transitive. But what's some just transitive verbs that require an object every time you use
Punch,
it?
hit.
Oh.
Whoa, giving it away.
Well, yeah, it's just a.
Have you given it away?
He's
so
getting
give.
sign language up
To
there.
give.
is
There's
actually-
no caring
Give is
job.
actually, yes, it's definitely. Okay, I'm giving him, yes, what I'm saying, I'm giving him the mind, the way to test this is the mind's gonna say, what are you doing? And you know, I'm kicking the,
What?
and then the mind goes, the ball, you know, the cat, the tire, you know what I mean? See, so it's things that require, to be said, to have a complete thought, it requires an object every time. So yes, to hit something, to give something,
To shave? Is it shave?
yeah,
Well,
shave.
that gets tricky too.
Yeah, well, but there's ways you change that.
Okay.
Yeah, but shave is one, like you, to shave someone else, to shave him or her. There's got to just be something that you just have to have. How about
Wash.
cut?
Cut.
You know, I cut. The brain says,
Cut
what?
what?
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Yeah,
Cut class.
yeah. See, that's the object. See, it's requiring that object. See, there's a verb that's requiring an object. That's your transitive verb, and the verb up here is just a verb. There's another class of verbs that fit closer to this. It's called verbs of state. I'm sleepy. I'm mad. I'm jealous. You know, those are, you're in a state. Okay, and in our language, in Dee-ni, they have a completely little different structure for the verb. It's really neat. And then you have your straight up intransitive verbs, then you have your transitive verbs, and you have those that eat goes both ways, drive can go both ways. You know, these are called bitransitives. So,
What about what Henry said, beat, to beat something, or I'm thinking to make something.
yeah, well,
Making.
so make would be, in Dee-ni is transitive. To make, I make bread, you know. See, I make bread, you know. So make is definitely a transitive verb. Now, giving that little bit of information, you can actually test a word in the language though, because it's interesting. Remember, every language has its own mind. Now, some verbs in Dee-ni, you can tell by its physical structure when you write it down that it inherently is transitive. Then you can see some verbs, by the way, way it actually is said and the grammar that's in it, that it's intransitive. And then some of the bitransitive verbs, just by the way it's said, and it tells you it's bitransitive. It's really interesting. Now the one thing that how you can always tell a transitive verb in Dee-ni is it usually will have the letter Y, well, or a double I like this, because remember they're the same. This is the, okay? This piece of grammar, when it's in third singular, will always appear, because that tells you there's an object. The verb inherently tells you there's an object. So, the man ball is kicking it. So this kind of means it, that Y. So if you look at a verb paradigm over here, look, right next page, 115, the verb to give. Look at the third singular verb of to give in present tense. Give, 3S, spell it for me, somebody.
Why?
W-A-Y, glottal V-S-H.
Okay, and we pronounce it Y-ush. Okay, see that Y right there? That tells you that that's a transitive verb. Okay, because it's written right in the Y-ush. See, it's right in the language. It's right there. You have a book? You're borrowing. Okay, good. All right. So in third singular, it's either going to have a Y or a double I. Like if I say tree, he's throwing it out. See, then it turns to I. Instead of it being T-R-Y, it's T-R-I-I. So that's why it's like that. And those are rare. The big common one is the Y. Now we had the word a while ago up here, you-she. No, you-hai. You-hai. Oh, so we just named but you-hai. So is you-hai transitive or intransitive? It's transitive.
It's a training.
Huh?
Said it's a training.
Because look at what letters got out here. Y, okay? So you-hai means buy it. It doesn't just mean buying, it means buying it or that. Okay? That's the difference, okay? Now up here, let's go, so I'm trying to get back over here to this, where we started from, okay? So intransitive verbs, so let's pick a really simple one, like nafta, maybe run?
Yeah.
Okay, so nafta. So I'll do a mini paradigm here. So one S is who?
I,
Two S is who?
you,
And three S is who?
it,
She or it.
He, she, or it, singular. Okay. So what I already told you is that probably the third singular verb is the simplest verb in the whole language, right? It's the basic verb they all started from. It's like the root, okay? The tap root of the verb itself. So we take the word, I'm going to do it on purpose, far apart, so we can see it. So say nafta.
nafta,
Nafta means he or she or it is running. They're running along the river, running along the road, or running up the hill, or something like that. They're running, okay? Okay, so you're going none, right? Nafta, right?
See, that's why you were right the first time.
Okay, now, for now, this is incorrect. Okay, for now. I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay. Okay, so look at the location. Look at the position in the verb. So it's nafta. Here's a slot. Here's a verb. So how am I going to get the you information into that? Don't be afraid. Just try. Good. Thank you for trying. How would you inflect that to mean you are running? Well, first of all, what do we have to add in there? We have to add in a meaning coming from the word none, right? Taking this particle, but we're going to shove it in here. We're going to inflect it into the verb. Where? You be quiet. You be quiet. And you be quiet.
Nah, not she.
Before the end.
Oh, out here.
Yeah.
That's so you're pausing out here. Okay, so you're going.
That doesn't look right.
Okay.
That's wrong too. Told me to try.
Exactly. I'm loving this because this is how you're going to learn this. Okay. So now, okay. Again, I'm going to say it again. Look at the position of the blank.
So it goes there.
And where is it at?
Put the N in there.
And where? Just spell it for me, Luke. Just spell it for me.
N-A-N-L-A.
Okay, so you're going N-A-N-L-H-T-A.
Oh.
Yay! Yeah. So now, nonstop.
Now who's running?
Yeah, you're running. Yeah, you're running. Nonstop. See? Okay, so see that? This is called, what I tell you last 2 times, inflection. You're inflecting the verb right now. as I said, think of infection, like it's, entering the body, getting you sick. See, you're inflecting it. You're changing it. Okay, so now I'm running. Now help me. Somebody pause it, not you guys. Pause it how to say it. So now that you know this much, now first of all, what are you going to put in the verb up here? Yeah, you can put an SH in there. So spell it for me, somebody. Give it a plural.
N-A-N, or N-A-S-H-L-H-D-A.
Yay! Okay, stand with us, Okay, so now we have changed the person in the verb, meaning the owner. See, now that's why, so really, nashta is really a whole sentence. Because it says, I am running. You can say it in English, what are you doing? I'm running. I can just say to you, nashta. See why none earlier was not necessary? I didn't say she nashta, you say nashta. Complete sentence, because what does it have in this? It has the verb, and it has the subject. It's right in the verb. So each verb really is a mini sentence.
That's all the information you need.
Why can you add N or M for?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great, all right.
He loves rabbit holes.
Now, okay, and there's a reason, because we already had it up here. So now, I'll put this back in order. So let's do by as a mini paradigm. Okay, so that's a transitive verb, so one S is who?
I.
Stop it. Second S is?
You.
Thank you. Third is? Singular. Okay, so here I'm going to move it apart on purpose. Okay. Now, here's Yuchai. He or she is buying it. Yuchai.
That's 2 U's in the middle.
I'm sorry. Okay, Yuchai. Say it. Yuchai.
Yuchai.
All right. Now,
German.
and I'm gonna put the zero subject marker is right there. Okay, so now let's say I am buying apples. So how would you posit? I'm saying I buy. Give it a whirl. See the location.
It's like a trick question.
Louder, Lou, louder.
Okay, so you're positing. I'm right down here for us. You're positing. Right? Okay. That is so close to being close. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Because you don't know this yet. And that's why. But what happens is,
No, it doesn't look right.
in the transitive verb, the transitive marker is what? It's a Y or a double I, right? Okay. It only shows up in third person. And third person plural. That's the only place. It disappears for some reason. Well, there's probably a whole rabbit hole. We can go down. We're not going to go down. So really, it's ushai. Yeah. Because that passed away. It's not there. See. Yeah. And it's only going to be in third. It's only going to be in third singular and third plural. And down here it's chay, you, chay. They're buying it. Okay, chay, you, chay. Okay. This is a plural. But now, getting back to your question. Interesting happens in Dee-ni. It's called markedness in Dee-ni. Okay, markedness in Tawa. Okay, so now let's now that we know this disappears. This only stays here in third person, right? It disappears in these two persons, right? Posit this one. What is it going to look like? From the information y'all have at this point, give me a spelling for you by it. Nunchait? Okay, we're back to this pattern.
Oh, okay.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Well, look, where's the slot? No, look at the slot though, Lou, and everybody. See, the slot is here. The slot is here. So where are you gonna put that information?
Put it in there.
Yeah, put it in there. Just do it. Yeah, try it. What's it gonna be? Very good. Would you say it again?
That sounds very German.
That sounds good.
Sorry.
Okay.
If you speak German, no, it's not.
Now, all things being equal, that is 100% correct, but it's wrong. But there's a reason for it. No, this is correct though. You've got the right.
Logically, that's
you've got the data in there correctly, you've got it in the right position, and it really is Unheit. But this language, for some reason, over the millions of years or whatever, how long it's been, it decided to phonologically do something different. Okay? And so so when you write a phonological rule, you take the two properties and say, so when you take the property oo, must be drying out on me. Oh.
Do you want me?
Okay, so you take the sound phoneme oo, right? Okay, and you're going to add it to the sound right? Right? What this language says is this, that turns into yeah, it changes to So anytime you have a verb with oo in it, the second person is always Like daila umte, what do you want? Daila umtsi, what do you know? Anytime there's a oo and it does that, it's like clockwork every single time. It just changes to that. So when you add this to that, it becomes that. Okay? Every time. So that's why we end up with an M. And it's always going to be in a verb that has an oo in it in the front, like that. Yeah. It's just gonna, so like I say, ushte, I want it. Umte, you want it. Yuste, he wants it.
Is that because it's easier to say? Is that why?
And when you just say umte, it's easier to say umte. See, and there's a whole other layer in the language called phonology, right? And it's always putting pressure on language. That's why we shorten things. He would not have gone to the doctor if I didn't tell him. He wouldn't have went to the doctor. See how he would not have turned it would not have? He wouldn't have. See, that's pressure. See, and the language, all languages do the same thing. And it's called, and it pushes on the language daily. We get talking fast, right? What are you gonna buy at the car? Go to the dinner? What's wrong? You know, we can buy something for dinner. Well, if you keep doing that, see how it changes the language. See, so the language is going. It's a lot easier to say than See, look at the word See, just something like that. So the phonology then crushes the language and makes it do a phonological rule that when oo plus becomes
And just like that glottal H. Well, I mean, the X, I meant, when you say height.
Oh.
You know, so when you're saying,
yeah.
height.
Yeah.
Although hey is
Easier. Yeah. See, because remember I was describing the oral tract, right? There's all the articulation points in our vocal and oral and nasal tract, right? That produce human language, right? And so when you put a factor in front of another factor, it drives what this one's going to do to make the transition just from our speech apparatus itself. That's called phonology. See, that happens just organically. It's just logical to the muscles and the sounds and where they're located in the mouth and the throat that cause these things to happen. That's called phonology.
And
The study of sound.
Least resistance, too.
Takes the path of least resistance, right? And who wants to make the language so impossible to speak? No one. So the language just fixes it. So that's how we get Now, once in a while, we get a tilde. Because really, what a tilde is, this little this tilde, is really just N. But it usually comes at the end of a long vowel. So let's do an intransitive verb for go. Okay, so it's first, second, and third, and the verb is tosh. Say that to me, tosh.
Tosh.
Tosh. Okay, so that means he or she's going someplace. Tosh, going to Crescent City. Okay? Alright. Now, so I'm going to show you where the verb slot is for 0. It's going to be right here. Okay. Now, what information do you have to get in there for I go? I go Crescent City. Crescent City, I go. So you got to get a what in there? You got to get a... Right. So does anybody want to give it a oral? Oh, this is a toughie. I should have picked an easier one.
Bad one.
This is a bad one. Let me pick a different one.
Yeah, that
A
was.
Schwa.
There you go.
A Schwa.
Yeah.
That's better. I'm sorry. I'll show you this one later when you know further down the road. Let's do A
It's
Schwa.
one of those irregular ones.
Yeah, it's too regular. So A Schwa. Ooh.
Ashram makes
Hey.
you cry.
Do
Yeah. Well, No, I don't like this neither. I want something with a long vowel. Let me see.
Yeah.
See. Yash.
No, yeah.
No, yeah.
What that?
Let's do
No.
chomp. Let's do chomp.
Yeah.
Chomp's a good one.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as go.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
But it's okay, it's not that bad.
okay, let's try this one. Okay, that's the verb to eat. Okay. Just ne epet chomp. Drong he look chomp. Think boucherie chomp. Oh God, I hope not.
I do.
So chomp means to eat. Okay.
Instead of horse eat the cat.
That was the dog on the cat.
Yeah.
Clean boucherie chomp. Not good. Okay. Now, I need to get. See, it's the same as
I know.
Tosh. That's you know what? Let's just do
They
it.
all die.
Let's just do it.
It's okay.
Okay, what happens is that okay, so just stays the same and on stays at the end. Okay, but I've got to get an sh in here, right? Right.
Fine.
So let's throw it in there. So if we just said it by itself, it would be what? Chashon. Chashon. It'd be chashon, right? We need a transition verb. This is phonology again. It needs a helper verb to get in there. So what the language picks is the letter E. So chashon, I'm eating. Chashon. Chashon. Epes chashon. You know, just the epes chon. She epes chashon. Okay. Now we've got to get what in here for this one, everybody? We got to get an N in there, right?
Where's it gonna go?
Okay, so we've got an N. This is an N. That tilde, Tilda. Okay, right there. So what does that look like now? Right? So the language just doesn't like even though all the information is there. The ch is there, the is there, and the verb root is there. It doesn't like it. So guess what it did?
Added some letters.
This is phonology. This is what phonologists live for. This piece of reality, they love it. Because they want to see how all this history, all of these sounds, and then the pressure the language puts on, the phonology puts on the language, this is the surface. So see, look, we got an empathetic Y here. See that? Oh, yeah. Look, we got a full yeah. Okay? And we got A's here, ah sounds. Well, back to our vowel chart. E, U, A, A. Okay. Well, so you go from right? So it's going back. Yeah. So it picks up the A vowel. Up here, it picked up the E because it's chishon. It's up front. See, so it picked it picked the front and the back vowel. That is phonology. They're empathetic vowels to make the word happen. It's just like Well, became Well, chon becomes chon to fit all that information in there, and chon becomes chon ya to fit in that. Because you have to have this. These are grammatical. These have to exist. Second person has to be put in here, and so the phonology is adjusting to it. So that's how you come up with chon, ya, chon. And if you were just hearing them alone, you think, how is chon even related? Right? You go, man, how does that mean I eat and he eats? Now you can see how it functions. Okay, and that's why you get the tilde. But in linguistics, the tilde is called a feature. It's not really a full consonant. Wine is great. I've done it. Sorry. Oh, thank you. And so,
I found an easy verb, by the way.
did you? Which one?
Naga.
Okay, let's do naga real quick.
It doesn't have any phonology in it.
Okay, so let's just do naga and then I'll take a break. I'm sorry for you guys. You should be mean. Tell me something. Okay, so naga. He or she is walking. Naga. That's supposed to be a G. Okay, so now I need to add what to get I'm walking. What sound? And so the zero position is right here. Okay, so say it. Nashiga. Perfect. Yeah, wrong, but perfect. No, seriously, perfect but wrong. Yeah, right.
But you're getting it.
Yeah, but see,
right?
but that's right
Right.
though. Okay, so you posited, which is good. You posited Nashua, which is totally, now if you're following the rules, right? And you're a learner, and you're a baby, and you're a child, of course that's correct, but it's wrong.
I've never felt so good being wrong.
No, but I mean, so it's Nasha. And something, see again, the language just sucked these together and it collapsed that into Nasha. See what I'm saying? It's just, again, that's the phonology crunching on top of each other and blah, 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 and the gaga just got kicked out. Okay, now try, you are walking. No, the shaw's missing now.
Yeah.
It's no longer
Start
there.
with 3S. And
Yeah, start with 3S.
Oh, we start with 3S.
Yeah.
Oh, 3.
Always start with 3S and go
Okay.
backwards, or forward. There's no SH, it's gone. What sound do we need?
Oh,
We
right.
need- Yeah. Thank you, Nongwa, yeah.
There's your tilde.
There's your tilde, nice and clear. See, so na sha, Nongwa, na la.
It doesn't want a hard N.
Yeah, yeah, and you even say non-ga. See, that's what happens. See, if we spelled it this way, non-ga. Now try to say that non-ga.
Non-ga.
Non-ga. It's easier to say non-ga. See, it's called nasalizing it.
Non-ga.
It's nasalizing this vowel. See, so non-ga, non-ga versus non-ga. Easier to say non-ga. Now these are called nasalized vowels because it's coming out the nose. See, more of the nasalized vowels, there could be e, right? And on, right? This can be e, on. They can all be nasalized.
And for your books, the verb root is at the end of the word, so ga, G-H-A. When you look in your dictionary, between pages 53 to, how far it goes, it's alphabetized by that last syllable. So for example, on page 55,
Yep.
you can see the middle example there is ga.
Oh,
So right there, na,
Take a 5-minute break.
na, and na.
Thank you. Okay, so think honaga. So we look out the window and we say, think honaga. There's a dog walking there. We don't know where he's going, where he's coming from, doesn't matter, just the point is, he's walking. So now to get on to the third one in is adjective. So now what is the job of an adjective?
describe something.
Oh, very good. So an adjective describes. Okay, all right. And Lashi said brown.
Monophage.
Said brown, right? Okay. So what was the okay? So let's do that in English. So the brown dog is walking. We'd have to put something like along there or something. Is walking there?
I
There.
think he is walking.
The brown dog, yeah, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
The brown dog is walking. Okay, and so this is now, which is the subject in this thing? Go back to semantics. Okay, and is there an object?
Do.
Do. So what kind of a verb is this? Intransitive. Okay, so this verb is not only a verb, it's an intransitive verb. Okay, right. And so the is called articles. There's only a few articles in the language, like the, this, is, no, do. They start sentences.
This.
The
and
cat, that cat,
That.
those people, there's a few of these. This one is good, this. And then brown is what kind of a word then?
Descriptive?
Yeah, it's a describer, exactly. It's an adjective. So now the question is, where do we add the adjective in Dee-ni? Okay, in Dee-ni, it goes right here. Okay, it always follows It always follows the object that's modifying. Okay? So, so now there's a brown dog walking there. Okay? You don't say, think. You know, like the White House in Washington, D.C., you know, the White House or the black cat. In English, it's just the opposite. See, it goes before. Okay? So that's adjectives. That's how they work. Now, if I'm going to adjectivize, somehow change a verb, what are those called? I didn't put that on here, did I?
Adverb.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
The adverb. And the way I remembered that is this. Dyslexia. Isn't that good?
You gotta do it all the time.
What are you doing? You're adding it to a verb. Adverb. See? All right. So now we're going to modify this. So this brown dog is walking quickly. Okay, so now what kind of word is that?
Adverb.
An adverb.
Open.
Yeah, you're changing how the walking is going, right? It's not she's just walking now, it's all of a sudden he's walking quickly, see? So you change that. And then the position for Dee-ni is right before the verb. So it would be okay. So that brown dog is just really hustling along there, walking. Okay? So see the positions I'm showing you, and this is all available to you on pages like 108 and 109. Okay, in that area. Oh, articles. Says are on page 83. There are words like long ago, this, then, that, there, and then. Once upon a time, sure enough, in the beginning, in the early days, you know, finally. Yeah. Okay, so that's just word order. This is all syntax that we're doing today, right? Well, plus inflection. We did syntax and inflection this time. Okay, so think. Now, going on down that list, well, on the down a ways it says tense. So, let me see. Shall we go? I've got half an hour. Let me see. So, did we do them all? Yeah, we did, huh?
Mhm.
Article, noun, adjective, postposition.
Postposition, do.
Well, postposition's right here. Okay. So postpositions or prepositions in English are called prepositions, in Dee-ni they're called postpositions grammatically because of their location, but they mean the same identical thing. Okay. So the way Galish teaches it and Sini teaches it is on, what? Underneath, ye un, me chin, ni un, que, forgotten, me, me un. Those are all postpositions. See, on, under, beside, behind, in front, over, and out of, and in.
Quant, too.
And then guant is to cover something. So guant is to cloak it. Gui is over, like a bird's flying over the mountain versus the fog enshrouds the mountain. So that's guant. There's guant and quat, or gui, excuse me. So that's just a way to show just with a hand. But that's all. So now you can change this, right? The brown dog, you could change by changing this, you could change like where he's doing it. So like if you said, he's running along there fast. You'd have to have a location say quat on.
Yeah, like on the mountain.
Yeah, then you have to say on the mountain. Like think a nonsense quat. Yeah, he's walking fast on the mountain. You have to put an object in there. Oh, that's something we never covered.
Dual
I think I
objects.
said that. Okay, so the object in Dee-ni is usually another noun, right? So in transitive verbs, the girl is cutting an apple. Okay. So we know this. What? The girl is what? She is a... She's det först, and what's this part of speech?
Subject.
Yes, in semantics it's subject,
Oh.
but in grammar it's a
Noun.
noun.
Oh, I get it.
Right, yeah, okay, yeah, right, you're on the wrong planet. Okay, this is called an article, okay? So cutting is what?
Verb.
A verb, and apple is a
No.
noun. And then we decided could be a quantifier, right? Alright, and is, what kind of verb is it?
Popular.
Oh, it's linking.
It's a linking verb,
Linking,
uh-huh.
there you
Yeah,
go.
popular verb, okay. So now let's get this going in Dee-ni, okay? Okay. So now, leaving grammatical meanings, what are the semantic roles? So who's the subject in the sentence?
The girl.
Yes, now she's the subject. And what is the object in the sentence?
Apple.
The apple. That's right. Okay. And what's the verb? Verb. Okay. So these are the semantic roles in a sentence. So now how are we going to get to this sentence in Dee-ni? So it would be what? The det Hirsch. Next comes the object. A pus.
Etas.
Well, let's add an unnecessary postposition just for the sake of it.
They're cutting.
Yeah, you say die det Hirsch goed as. You can say that. I just want to put it in for the purpose of location.
Okay.
Optional. Okay. All right. So. Okay, notice the transcription is cutting. See? Because generally, there are no copulative verbs in Dee-ni. They don't exist. You don't need them. Why? Probably because the subject's already in the verb, and all that kind of stuff. So, wie det Hirsch goed as,
What
or
about shakti? Add in your quantifier just to see where it goes.
slati, or slap,
Mine, either.
right here.
Do.
Oh,
Or ape.
okay. All right, so just before we leave this, so you can see what happens here is the subject and the object, though they're both nouns, are right next to each other. Very different than English. Because if I said that the girl apple cutting, see, it sounds weird in English, doesn't it? The girl apple was cutting. But in English, of course, the girl's cutting an apple, see? So just know that the subject and the object sit right next to each other. And here's the verb, right? And this is the postposition, and this is the article. Okay, so,
Is it important which order the nouns go in?
yes. Yep, you don't say, ye epes det Hirsch goed etas. Then the apple would be cutting the girl. So let's write that up there. It says, very important, guys, thank you. So, ye epes det Hirsch.
Only the sci-fi movie.
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, so now the Hirsch Jadas. Now this is the subject. See, this is the subject position. See, S-O-V, S-O-V. So Apes is the subject. Det Hirsch is the object, and Jadas is the verb. See, S-O-V. That's the language, the verb final language. So now, yes, by just changing that around, you change who's doing the cutting. Here the girl's doing the cutting, here the apple's doing the cutting. And this subject owns what? The verb. It controls the verb. Okay? Yeah. All right. There was something.
Well, I was going to just have you show
Oh,
how to quantify.
okay, now it's interesting how, a quantifier, like a few, many, some, a tad, right? Or
Smidgen.
there's a kind of a fuzzy line in this language between what an adjective is and what's a quantifier. Okay, they're kind of, so a hard stone quantifier are numbers. Okay, so so if a number, a real number like a real number is put in here, it always precedes the object is changing, not afterward. Adjectives are behind, right here. Okay, but numbers always go before. So.
And that's not on your list, so you might wanna write quantifier down.
Or numbers. Well, actually, they're different. Really, they're different. I mean, they're similar but different. Numbers have a very specific location. Okay, so let's go. We're gonna have to pluralize the
Which is
verb.
really easy.
Yeah. Okay. So we said instead, ta he et hirsch etas etas. So, Dailahan Kache. Dailahan. Huh?
Three.
Three. Uh-huh.
Girl,
Uh-huh.
Girls, apples, or
apple, here.
All of a sudden, Che is different. See, they. Okay. Now, so you don't say det Tache a plus. Let's write that way. Show you the difference. So we said det Tache. We have to go back to this. Now what this means is the girl is cutting up 3 apples. This means 3 girls are cutting up apples. So that's very important to see the difference. See, because it's actually, this is the segment here.
But it's always before.
See, it's before whatever it's changing. So 3 girls, apples, they are cutting because there's 3 girls. A girl, 3 apples is cutting. And see the verb agreement going on? Here are 3 girls, so it has to be plural verb. Here's a girl, has to be a singular verb. That's called verb agreement. If you don't have that, then if I said to you, det verstake etwas as, you could almost get away with it, but it'd be kind of wrong. Because you could say girls. Let's see how it would be wrong.
That would have to be in a conversation.
Yeah, it'd have to be. But just straight out, that'd be wrong. Yeah. So tafe get versus. So these locations, see, our language is very locked in what position things go in. When we go up to Nili and we work with the Sahapan speakers, they almost have they have like a word order free language. They can just mix stuff up and still make sense. They go, how do you guys know what you're talking about? You know, because our language is very, you know, what comes first to second, or you know, what comes third, you know, what orders in very clear, very concise patterns. And they just they could throw the man, the girl, the apple, and cutting in different places, but they throw little pieces of grammar on it, like a sound, and it tells them what's going on. They go, how does your brain even understand what you just said? See? Again, the mind of the language. All these languages of the world are so uniquely, wonderfully different. And here's an example. We're very structured and ordered. How we see and talk about the world. Theirs is, we'll throw all this stuff together and make spaghetti and it tastes like pasta. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a very different approach. And we're sitting there going, wow, you guys get away with doing that, huh? So they have free word order compared to us. We have a very strict word order. Yeah, very strict. And part of the belief is that, remember when I said the word nashta, I am running, is a whole sentence? Theoretically, maybe. Since this is a whole sentence, I am running, right? The da means run, right? Anytime there's a verb with da on the end, it usually means run. Okay? And the na means movement. The sha is first singular. And this is called, well, this could just be, it could be a causative to make it happen. Okay. But if you notice, the order of this even, this is the subject, right? And this is the verb root. So if you start from the base word in this language, theoretically speaking, the word order is set for us. See, because here's the subject and here's the verb. it's built up from the basic mechanics of the verb itself, then it made the parent sentence. Probably,
It could be.
that's in theory.
There's 9.
That's
I'm
just
not sure
looking
which
at
one's a part.
relationships, like,
Yeah.
I'm running, so I can just capitalize this, make this into a sentence. Put a period
I
right
don't
there.
know anything about top.
It doesn't say where I'm running, but I can, but it's got everything you need to know. It doesn't say to where, but it's an intransitive verb, so it's just the act of running. Okay, so that might be why we ended up with an SOV word, verb, structure as a sentence. Because this da is what's called, it has semantic meaning. If I say, like for aish, it means to write. If I say as, it means to cut. If I say, well, all of it, leak. Leak means to make,
Dash.
make a net. Dash is to dance, yeah. Ha is to fly, and that's at the end of the verb.
And one of the things they only practice on is doing the SH, LH sounds. They're everywhere, and you
Oh,
know.
is that right here?
Mostly,
Nosh.
especially colors.
And, just practice, just nosh, da.
Yeah.
And that's,
Because
that combination of letters is everywhere.
Especially if you're a person who's making this an SH to begin with. If you're making the word number 1 slop,
Schwa.
or slop. See, but really you've got to say slop. See, so to her point is that if you were going to say it that way, then it would look like this. Nashashashta. See what I'm saying? So don't make your into a sh, please.
It's really hard to
Very
train your tongue,
different.
but you need to practice that.
Yeah.
Just say the word love and put your tongue right behind your teeth and blow out the sides.
Love.
You have to, because our tongue never goes there in English.
Yes.
You will never have that happen, and so you
Well,
have
we have it in love. We have it, the voiceless.
Yes.
Yeah, you have the voiced, and there's voiced versions and unvoiced versions of sounds, right? And voice just means vibrating right here. Okay, so we did this one time before, so if you go love, lots, right? Those are English words. Put your finger, feel it vibrating. Love, lots, Lonnie, right? It's vibrating, right? Now, we don't use this in English. Put your tongue in the same place and just blow out and don't vibrate. La, lon, lum, look. See, that's the unvoiced version. See, they're in the same location in the mouth. Love, la, Lonnie, lon. See, one is voiced and one's voiceless. That's the only difference between them. But because of our English ears, we'll make that into a s.
Yeah.
That's our English ears.
So we have a tendency to go,
Or sh, or s.
Or sus. I'm gonna say the S for sus.
Or cut.
That
For
S.
hot?
Yeah, for hot. Like that's what Bray says. There's no S at the end. You're saying sus, not.
Oh, yeah, so it's
Yeah.
yeah,
that's it.
sus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sus. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying sus.
Yes.
Yeah,
You gotta get rid
yeah.
of that. You said you want to do the S one.
right, and you just get your tongue back behind your teeth.
And yeah, and some look.
Swallow your spit and blow.
There you go. Say that.
Slon.
So nosh, da. Nosh, da.
Nosh.
All you have to do is practice saying black. You can say black, you can say it all.
Say black.
Black.
We're done.
You write it down.
Okay, this one here, guys, this is a good practice.
Okay, well.
Shun.
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 Shun. Un.
That's what they cat.
Here's a good one.
Shunny.
This is the verb they live there, a bunch of people. Hot.
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 Hot. Not minky Juntens hot. There's some white people living over there or something. Dee-ni lands hot. There's a bunch of Indians living over there. okay? Hot. Another good one is hun. Sweet. Something sweet. Hun. Hun. This is not the LH, but that's, I mean, it's just.
Try it, that shriek. That makes it up a little bit.
Yeah, so.
It is hard, it's harder to do, I think.
Purple. Let shriek. Let shriek. Let shriek. Let shriek. Now you know why they call Dee-ni or Dee-ni a consonantal language. It loves consonants. See, a lot of languages are verb-based languages, like Hawaiian,
Wow.
Japanese, vowels. Japanese, Hawaiian, karu. They just vowels everywhere. You know, they're not Dee-ni, it's consonants everywhere. And then use the vowels just to connect it all together. So this is why it's called a consonantal. It's a consonant language, consonantal language. That's why it's classified that. Screaming examples right here. You know, shriek, hun, hot, shun. Yeah. Those are probably some of the hardest words, I think.
What was the last one?
Shriek, purple, purple. violet.
Stick stush is really hard.
Oh,
It's a good one. That has all three.
Thanks, Dallas.
I'm trying to do 5 little pumpkins.
This is the retroflex, like flu, right? Hit, dash. Hit, dash.
What is it? What is
Fence.
it?
Fence.
Fence?
Fence.
That's a fence?
Hit, dash, yeah. Yeah, hit, dash. And if you break, and you know what's really fun about our language? Because it's consonantal, you can take almost every word in the language and parse it down into its parts and figure out what it's saying. I mean, what it's describing. You know, like, so if we did the grammar on this, so that's the sound segment, right? That's a sound segment, that's a sound segment, that's a sound segment. And then this is, we know this just by practice, that's the verb root, okay? Dash. So, dash means go. Non dash, you know. There's another way to say go. There's about 6 or 7 ways to say go in the language, to walk and go and move, okay? Tush, dash, dash, ga, hot, dash, they all have something to do with movement, okay? So, dash. Well, tet means flat or wide. So actually what this is so this part here means wide or flat. So what does a fence look like? It's wide and flat, and it's going along the ground, right?
For a long
So,
way.
yeah, so if you put your post in, and you got your post and your boards, and
So it's very descriptive. The language describes how something
Okay,
looks,
and then
smells, talks.
chirp is the passive, something that goes flat, that goes on and on. So you take this, dash is how you come up with the word for fence. This is the Golden Richards word. Remember that? I mean, I don't know if he made it up or not, but
Say
he's
it
the one.
again, what did you say?
Hit dash. Hit dash. Hit dash. Hit dash. Aye.
And I say, I'm not for me, because I try to throw the LH and everywhere, I'll say Dutch. I'll
Overdo it.
overdo it.
Yeah,
I'll
overdo it, yeah.
slap it in everywhere.
Right.
And
God.
it's really hard not to do that.
Yeah. And that's what's, like I say, because our language, the way it is, you know, with the consonants and all that stuff, it's very, it's considered a conservative language in terms of change. Some languages, because they're more vowel-oriented, once a word is created in the language, it'll erode down to something else, right? But because of the consonants in this language, it hangs on to that historic grammar for just a long period of time. It's not something, it doesn't just go throwing parts off. You know, because for example, if I just start saying, you know, and just threw this away, then the mind's gonna go, you know, something's wrong. If I just got rid of this, the dash, the go part, see what I'm saying? Now, it does erode, which is normal. Words do erode, right? They get some shorter. The older, they say, the older the word is, the longer it's been alive in the language, it becomes crunched and eroded down. And that's probably true. We have some basics, like we have the word for fire. You know, what? And usually erode words are one syllable, and you can't break it apart. You know, like if I go like this, it's like, oh man, you know, that's a W sound. Hey, that's a H sound. This is a U sound. That's an N sound. That's a long stop. Hwant. Okay, there you go. It's a hwant. It's a fire. And it could have been a long time ago. This could have been, you know, hui or something like, or whatever. Who knows? And he wrote it down.
XW,
XW.
KW, those are, and they're very difficult to hear sometimes of how you're saying them. But it's important as you
Yeah,
go
so-
on and practice that when you can.
Yeah. So you know, so those
That's in the
are.
language app. I mean, good, to use your language app.
Yeah.
Hear it like that or something.
Let's see. Oh, here is that sentence.
Probably help
I
with
will
more
do that next
grammar.
time. Look at this time. Okay, so basically a noun is a what? Person, place, or thing in a sentence, always there,
Or
right,
idea.
usually. Okay, and then an adjective's job is to describe, and a postposition's job is to locate it in the world. Another word for postposition, everybody, I'll show it to you, is a locative. What word does that come from, locative?
Okay.
Location, or location, location, okay? So then they made it into a locative, okay? Because again, on, beside, underneath, front of, behind, in and out of are locations. So postpositions are locatives, along there, over it, you know, underneath of it.
Anything
You
you
know.
can do a cloud, that's what Ms. Williams always say.
Okay, so,
Through it,
so that's,
in
so
it, out
another
of
word
it,
for it,
around
the
it.
postposition is a locative. So linguists call them locatives. Grammarians at schools call them postpositions. Because he says position, see? Yeah. And so, yeah, so that's those. And then an adverb does what? What's its job? You add it to a verb, and it changes how the verb is occurring. Not the tense, not when, how. Quickly, slowly, never, perpetually. Used in English, they mostly end in ly. You know, most of them. Rapidly, okay, most of them. Never, of course, the exception. He never runs, right? Okay. And then the last one's a verb. So the verbs are movements, right? And there's a person who owns them. They are the subject. And if something's happening to him, it's the object, okay? And if you have a verb that requires an object, it makes it transitive. If you have a verb that just happens, like sleep, see? Now, in English, we have go walk the dog. I walk every day, that's intransitive. Now, go walk the dog, that became transitive, see? See how, just because it says walk, you know that most of the time it's going to be intransitive. But guess what? Go walk the dog makes it transitive because you're forcing the dog to do something, right? And so we play around with that in our language. So naga is walk, we just saw this already. So if I was going to tell you to go walk the dog, make him do it, we do have a thing called an LH in the center called a causative. So would it be naga? So this is the part that drives linguists crazy, is that, so then if I said to you, "Sneak nonga," and threw the LH in there, would it mean in our language, you go walk that dog, you're making him walk? See? Well, it should. Well, I don't know that it doesn't. The reason that we can't, you know what? If we had a room full of native speakers, and we said to them, "Sneak nonga," and they said, "No, I'm not going to walk the dog." See, you would know that it was acceptable in the language, but grammatically, it should. It should mean go do that to it. You see what I'm saying? Versus this is intransitive and this is a transitive form. Because there are places in the languages where this is true. I can't think of a pair of verbs right now, but it is true in the language that where you find the LH, it means go do it. Oh,
Or want,
well,
okay.
like so ne-in. Look at it, right? And ne-in means to observe it. So the word for a foreigner, shmo-ne-sin. Shmo-ne-sin. Okay. So look, see, here's the ne. This is the past tense. So this means from the other side of the ocean, looking around. wanting something. Land, I don't know, whatever he wants. Job, house, food. Okay, whoop-la, see, I'm saying it to all of you. See, shuk-sha, ning-la, you're saying to one person. Shuk-sha, na whoop-la, I'm talking to thank all of you. See how you can inflect thank you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shuk-sha, noop-la, I'm thinking just you two. Shuk-sha, na whoop-la, I'm thinking all of you. Shuk-sha, ning-la, I'm just thinking just you, not the rest of you. That's called inflection.
Show done. Show done.
Go beyond the next one.
Show done.
Show them.